Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, March the 24th, 2010, and this is a brand new edition of Idle Chatter. Hey everybody, and welcome to an all-new edition of Idle Chatter. I'm your host, Caleb Graham. Well, last night the Top 11 came on, and they were mentored by Miley Cyrus, taking on the Billboard #1 songs. I have to say, I kind of agree with Simon. It wasn't really a good night, but it definitely was the most interesting to me so far. I didn't get bored, we'll put it that way. It was definitely an interesting night. Started off, the judges and Ryan made their entrance through the big doors and came down that flight of stairs. It looks like it's probably like 10 miles long. And Simon made the point at the beginning, very early, and he was right. This was definitely the worst night to be eliminated, because if you don't make it to the top 10, you don't get to go on the tour. And so it's definitely not a good night to not do well. But anyway, Ryan and Simon got started with their banter right away. Simon told Ryan to stay away, even though he liked what he was wearing. And then Ryan and Ellen shared a kiss, which was just absolutely precious. The Top 11 made their awkward entrance, and then the show finally got started, with Lee DeWyze starting off singing The Letter. I thought he did a great job. He's getting a lot better with his stage presence. He doesn't seem like he's as shy. He's trying to connect with the audience and with the viewers a lot more, which I think is great. He hasn't always necessarily been one of my favorites, but I think that he's definitely getting better. He's growing on me. And I thought he did a great performance with that song last night. I love that song, and so, the fact that he did it was great, and he did really well, I think so. He's continuing to get better. Then, of course, Crystal Bowersox, I think, was the high point of the night, and then Paige Miles was definitely the lowest of the lows. I felt so bad for her. But I think everybody else fell in between. And so, it was an interesting night. But we're going to be right back with my special guest co-host Danielle Ussery to talk about it all. So see you on the other side.
I wonder who that is.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, as you can see, Danielle is not here. She was going to join us via Skype for today's show, but I got a text from her during the break, and she was at her hairdresser, and they still weren't finished, and she had been there since 3 o'clock, and it is almost 6:30 in Orlando. So, the only thing I have to say to that lady is, you are slow. But anyway, hopefully Danielle's hair will look awesome, because she will join us tomorrow since she was not able to be here today. So anyway, she was criticized. She has been criticized for not knowing herself, for making bad song choices. She's had laryngitis last week, and she's been receiving a lot, I think, of confusing criticism from the judges. And then last night, unfortunately, Paige Miles hit her all-time low. I mean, I have to say, I felt really bad for her. I mean, I think that she has received such kind of, the only thing I can think of is confusing criticism from the judges. They've told her so many different things, and she just can't seem to find herself in what she wants to do, it seems. She's just made, and she even said last night she thinks that she's made some bad song choices. She sang Against All Odds by Phil Collins last night, which is a great song. It's just something happened, and she was not able to pull it off. I mean, it was just off-pitch the entire time. Never once did she make it. Standouts last night, I think, definitely Crystal Bowersox. I said that a few minutes ago. She, to me, she outshines everybody last night. She sang Me and Bobby McGee, and she just really did a cool version. I have never heard the Janis Joplin version, so to me, it sounded current. Anyway, I thought she did great. By far the best of the night. I think following right under her was Michael Lynch. I loved his version of When a Man Loves a Woman. I thought that it was fantastic. And once again, I have to say, his falsetto, wow. He did it again last night. It was just great. I completely disagreed with the judges. They said that it was old-fashioned. So much about his performances that he's always so passionate in everything that he sings. It's just great. But they thought that it was safe. Karen thought that it was boring and loungy. Simon said that it wasn't relevant. I really thought the judges were crazy on that one, that's all I'm going to say. And then, of course, Siobhan. She's been one of those this season that a lot of people have started comparing her to Adam Lambert. I don't think that it's a fair comparison. I think that Adam is a lot better than her. And I don't usually try to compare guy and girl singers when they're... Anyway. I thought she did great last night. I don't think that it was as good as last week. I thought she sounded better than last week. She sang Superstition, which I think was a great song choice, probably one of the best song choices of the night, because they picked some weird songs last night. Of all of the #1 Billboard songs that they could have chosen, some of them were really weird, but, I mean, I think that I understand why they're trying to compare her because of the whole screaming thing, but I agree with the comment that I read online today was that Adam felt or seemed a lot more effortless with his, and hers seemed kind of forced and strained, and so I'm kind of a little worried about that. He has become a heated topic on the show, and I think that between myself and John Michael, mostly, that Tim Urban has received a lot of criticism. He also is one of the ones where it seems kind of like he can't find himself. Last night he sang Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and he was just all over the place. I mean, he had fun. It was clear, very clear, that he had a lot of fun with the performance. Simon said that he thought that all of the moving around and dancing around and sliding around on stage was a distraction from the vocal, which I could see where that could be a little bit true. I didn't think that it was the worst vocal of the night. I thought Paige definitely was the worst. I didn't think that Tim was the worst, but I do think that he needs to continue to get better. He's not really getting better at this point, which, and you know, I think the reason we talk about him so much is because a lot of people think that he doesn't deserve to be there. Because he was called back, he didn't really make it originally, and all those kind of things. I just think, you know, that if America voted him in, it's clearly what they want to see. And that's what this show is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the American people voting on who they want to buy from. You know, the whole thing about the judges saying, you know, they always show tell who their favorites are, and I really think they try to push the American public, which is kind of what they're there for. I think they're more there to give criticism than to try to sway the vote. But you know, America is going to vote through the person that they want to buy their albums, and I don't think that, you know, I think that's the bottom line. You know, whether we like it or not, that's why we've been given the power to vote, is so that we can vote for the people that we like, so that they can be pushed through. That's my rant on that. I'm not going to go any further than that. Anyway, we're going to continue on with this discussion. I'm out of time for right now. We're going to go to break, but we're going to carry on with the top 11 discussion right after the break. See you then.
Soap. Use soap and warm water to wash up and kill all of those nasty germs.
Soap. It cleans your hands. Hey everybody, and welcome back to a brand new Idle Chatter. I'm hoping that we won't have any more technical difficulties in the show because that last segment was a complete mess. Anyway, continuing on with the discussion, I'm trying to figure out who I think will be in the bottom 3. Before I do that though, I try to rank everybody each week. I think the #1 performance by far last night goes to Crystal Bowersox. Second place for me, Michael Lynch. Third place, Siobhan Magnus. Then the middle 4, I put Lita Wise, Aaron Kelly, Casey James, Didi Benami. Normally I don't like Casey, but last night I thought he did better. He did well for the song. The judges were right. It was I didn't like the song. It wasn't my best. He's still probably not one of my favorites, but I thought he did better last night than he has been doing. And then the bottom 3, I really feel like is going to be Paige for sure. I definitely see Paige going home this week, unfortunately. And then the other 2 could be Andrew, Tim, or Katie. Any of those 4, I think, could potentially be in the bottom 3 tonight. So, we'll see what happens. Regardless, you know that I'll be talking about it tomorrow. Danielle will be here tomorrow, and we'll be excited because I miss her today. Even though she's only been on here one time, I don't like doing this by myself. It's a lot more fun when you have somebody to talk about it with. But I want to know what you thought about the top 11 this week. You know, how do you think they did? Did you think Miley was a good mentor? Did you think the performances were good? You know, share your thoughts with me. And if you've got any other comments, suggestions, questions, anything like that, email us. The email address is idlechattershow@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/CalebGraham. You can ask me questions there, send comments there also. Anything that you send to me, I'll be more than happy to read on the show and share your feedback with everyone. Then, of course, my blog. You can check that out. I've been posting some interesting things over there that have been getting some feedback as far as the healthcare reform bill and my thoughts on that. So go check that out over at grayanoz.tumblr.com. And my phone's beeping. You can always check us out right here on YouTube. I said this wrong last week, so I'm going to make sure I get it right today. youtube.com/idlechattershow. Don't forget to add the show at the end. Of course, it's there at the bottom of the screen. And we will be right back. Danielle will be here tomorrow. Tonight is the top 11 results show. We'll see who goes home. Miley is going to be performing, as well as Joe Jonas and Demi Lovato. They'll be on there making a wave. And then somebody will go home. I think tonight's probably going to be dramatic. I'm anticipating it to be an intense show, so we'll see what happens. We'll talk about it tomorrow with Danielle, and that'll be it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.